are the Texans playoff bound with Stroud? Tell me what the remaining schedule right now. They play the Jets, the Titans, the Browns, the Titans again, and the Colts. They currently are just off the playoff bubble. I believe they have the Steelers, the Colts, and the Browns in front of them. All of them are 7-5.
Yep.
As well as the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
Texans have a rookie head coach. Never been head coach before. And D'Amico Ryans. They got a rookie quarterback who's playing out of his mind. C.J. Stroud. They just lost Tank Dell. What are your thoughts? Can they do it?
I mean, it's gonna be close, man. So you already mentioned they have the same record, 7-5 as Steelers, Browns, and Colts. I'm looking at the ESPN app here. They're sitting at the eighth seed, I guess you can call it. In the bigger playoff picture, they're playing the Jets, Titans, Browns, Titans, and Colts to end the season, man. They're ranked 19th in total defense for average yards allowed per game. They're ranked 6th total offense for average yards gained a game. And you already mentioned, man, Stroud playing out of his mind for a rookie. 3,500 passing yards, 20 tuds, 5 picks, 59.4 QBR, which is 12th right now. And he's the 8th favorite for MVP. Man, it's wild. The story's wild. I think they could do it. Now, of course, the AFC is tough. They're going to need a little bit of luck here. They need the Browns drop a game or two when they play the Browns in 3 weeks to kind of control their own destiny there. They play the Colts, the final game of the season. They're tied with Colts right now in second place in the AFC South. So that's going to be a big game. You and I were talking before the show here. Assuming they can win 3 out of the next 5, they go 10-7. Go 10-7. I like their odds to make the playoffs. Yeah, the Steelers with Pickett that's having his ankle injury there. I know Tomlin said he does not expect that to be season ending, but like he just had like surgery, so he can't be back like next week. I don't think, unless he's taking whatever like Captain America took, to get ready for that game. Then you have the Browns with, the QB elite Joe Flacco leading the front there. So who knows what that's going to turn out to be, right? And then you just have the Colts. The Colts are playing good football right now. They're finding a way to like win. But my point is, I think the Steelers and Browns can maybe hit a little bit of a downturn here in the final 5 weeks, and if the Texans just take care of business, win the games you're supposed to against the 4-8 Jets and the current 4-8 Titans twice, that's 3 more wins, put you at 10, and I think they can sneak in the playoffs. What are your thoughts?
I'm going to make a little bit of a bold prediction here. I think week 17, the Colts versus the Texans will be the game to determine who represents the AFC South.
Oh, shit. Go for the winner. Division winner. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. The reason I say this is because the Texans' next 5 games, like you mentioned, are the Jets, Titans, Browns, Titans, and then Colts. DVO ranking has the Texans higher than anyone else in there for the rest of the season that they're playing. The Colts are in a very similar situation. They have an easier end of the year schedule. I kind of would not be surprised if, the Texans drop a game or so. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts get upset by a game or so. I think they play the Ravens and Steelers. I think we saw. No, that was the Jags. They played the Ravens and Steelers. So I wouldn't be surprised.
I have it pulled up here. Yeah, Colts, final 5 games. Bengals, Steelers, Falcons, Raiders, Texans.
Yeah, so I could definitely see the Colts dropping one of those games, potentially like the Steelers. So they could be going to this final game against each other, having gone 3-1 in the previous 4 weeks. And the reason I say it could be for the division is because the Jaguars' remaining schedule includes facing the Browns against 7-5, 12th ranked in DVOA, so borderline a top 10 team. The Ravens, who are like number 2 or 3 in DVOA. The Buccaneers, who have been sneakily good. Then you got the Panthers, and then I believe they finished their season with the Titans. If they drop 3 of those games and they lose the Browns, Ravens, and Buccaneers, it could come down to between the Texans and the Colts for the division. And now you're probably saying to yourself, Emmett, that's fucking stupid. Why the fuck would the Jaguars lose all those games? It doesn't make any sense. Well, here's why it makes sense. Trevor Lawrence just went down, like we said at the beginning of this whole thing, with a high ankle sprain. That's usually a 4 to 6 week injury recovery. And if even you try to play on it, you're going to have such limited mobility. You're going to be a statue back there. What do the Browns do so well? They get to the quarterback with Myles Garrett and Zadarius Smith. What do the Ravens do so well? They get to the quarterback. I think they're top 5 in the league in sacks. The Buccaneers have a solid D-line. These are teams that get after the quarterback. If you have Trevor Lawrence, who's now immobile back there, not only do you risk injury, which is ridiculous, and they should sit him anyway, but your offense can very quickly become stagnant. And I don't want to shit on Jaguars fans because I know they're fantastic fans, and I know that they're a very passionate group, and I'm not saying you're trying to like shit on their team. I'm just saying it's injuries happen. It's very unfortunate. But that's what I think can make a determining factor in why I say the end of the year could come down to Colts versus Texans, that Week 17 game for determining the divisional title. And I think even just to take it one step further, I think the loser of that game might not even make the playoffs at all. Because I want to take it back to this too. The other teams who are just right outside. Sorry, I have the playoff standings on this monitor right here. We have the Chargers. I'm sorry, we have the Chargers behind them. The Bengals, who have looked really good last week with Jake Browning. The Bills and the Broncos are right behind the Texans. All 500 teams except the Chargers, who are 5-7. So it's not out of the realm possibility that we could be seeing a completely different playoff picture by the end of the season. It could be the Browns, it could be the Steelers, and then the Bills or the Broncos are able to sneak in.
Yeah.
So
no, I can see that, man. How crazy would it be if they both enter Week 18 at 10-6? That'll be wild, right?
Yeah, especially considering what the expectation was for the Texans going into the year. That would be wild. Now, I will say the one caveat that I think could definitely play a role in preventing that scenario I just discussed from playing out is the rookie wall. The Texans, unfortunately, are a very young team. A lot of their strength is coming from their rookies. Will Anderson, Tank Dell, who got hurt, CJ Stroud, and it's very common for those kind of guys at some point hit that rookie wall. You kind of get beyond where you've ever played before. You've never played a 17-game season before. It's 13 or 14 in college at best. So these guys kind of hit a wall of like, oh, okay, our bodies are kind of breaking down. Like, we didn't train for this. We just went through the draft process. So that might be the biggest hindrance, I think, that might stop the Texans from that kind of result and maybe sputtering towards the end of the season. But the rest of the team's been so good, I'm not even sure that's going to happen. I mean, Derek Stingley's been playing out of his mind. I mean, there's just been so many. Noah Brown's, been a surprising factor. Nico Collins seems to have figured it out. So, what do you think? What are the chances you think the scenario I mentioned actually plays out?
It could, but actually, I want to go back to your Jaguars point too. I tend to agree with that as well, mostly because the backup quarterback, CJ, the other CJ, he's pretty experienced in the league for a while. I think he's out of Iowa. Was his college? Like, he's just
CJ Beathard.
When you watch him, you can tell he's just not it. You know what I mean? Like, if they had a quality backup like that Jake Browning guy, like, maybe, you know what I mean? But like, then it comes back to the question, like, how long is T-Law out for? A high ankle sprain is not like a week thing. If he plays this Sunday, that's gonna be crazy. And they're shooting him with something in like a bottle. You know what I mean? Like, because that is hard to do. That is painful, man. And I read a tweet that he's actually gonna be out for 2 weeks longer. He had to walk like 300 yards to the locker room. So I'm just kidding, y'all. But like, the fact that he had to walk out there is funny.
Fuck. Yeah,
but like, so they had like a more of a quality. He's like, what? Reports just came out that since he had to walk back to the locker room, he's out for a week longer. If they have more of a quality backup, yeah. Instead of like, if they had like a more of a quality backup that can float the team for 3 weeks, and try to get to wins, yeah, sure, I could I can maybe see them trying to hold on to first place in the South, but like
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know, dude. Like
I think it's
high ankle
also
sprain, it's tough.
I think it's also an additional reality that the Jaguars have been kind of living this season on the edge. People kind of talk about like, oh, the Eagles, a lot of their wins have been by close, by comebacks, whatever it is. I mean, the Jaguars have been kind of the same way. They've had a few lucky bounces go their way. Their offense really hasn't clicked all year. They've kind of been reliant on a very opportunistic defense. I mean, Calvin Ridley, who we kind of had high expectations for going into the season, I mean, it really has underperformed. Now they have Christian Kirk, who's also
Yeah.
more than likely out unless they make a deep playoff run. So, I mean, they're starting to suffer some serious injuries at some very important positions. So, again, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we're seeing this season the AFC South come down to who's the better team in Week 17, the Texans or the Colts.
Yep.
Now, you guys tell us what you think. Is my bold prediction accurate? Do you think I'm out of my mind? Let us know in the comment section. Tell us your thoughts. Give us a like again. Give us a subscribe. We do this every week. We love hearing from you guys. Until next time, if this is where we're losing you, I've been Emmett. This is being We're the RFL Show. You guys can find us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Spotify.